to Write Out Loud Studio. Today is part 3 of this folio construction, and we're going to be concentrating on this area here, here, and here. First part we're going to do is creating this pocket here on the side. Before we do that, we need to attach a piece of file folder to create the pocket. And we will ink that up before we glue that down. Okay, so we need to attach it here. So we're going to attach it here. So we're going to glue right here, along here, and up the sides. And I am gluing to the right of this last score line right here. And of course I glued that on backwards. Put a little extra glue. And we need to put a piece of decorative paper here. And if you want to sew these pockets down, after you glue the decorative piece to it, now would be the time to get that sewn before you start adding pieces to the inside. I'm not going to sew this, but if you want to, now would be the time to do it. If you choose not to sew, just make sure that these edges are glued down nice and tight. Okay. On this panel right here, we are going to attach this music sheet, and then we have a couple of pockets that we're going to add here. All right, moving on. We have two pockets that go here, one tall pocket and one short pocket. This tall pocket actually will slide into this lower pocket. The pocket, you need a piece of file folder again that measures 4.5 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall, and a piece of decorative paper to go on there that's 4 inches across and 3 inches tall. That's going to go here at the bottom. We can go ahead and glue that down. All right, for this taller folder, you need a piece of file folder that is cut at 4.5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. Of course, you're going to miter the corners. The bottom half here needs to taper in so that it will fit inside this pocket up to this line where the miters begin. It'll need a few minutes to dry before we put the larger pocket in. All right. So this piece of decorative paper is going to measure 4 inches wide by at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4.5 inches long. Again, it's going to be tapered. You're going to taper down the edges, bottom edges. I'm going here and make sure that our hinges are not glued to the back of the envelope. Okay. Again, we want to slide this down to the point where we slanted in our upper pocket. Sorry, I can't talk and concentrate at the same time today. Here we go. See, this is where we start to cut in on the upper pocket. We want to slide that in till that point meets the top of this bottom envelope. There I go again with the envelope thing. These are pockets. And technically you could put a tag in here that actually goes all the way to the bottom because it's opened. Look straight. Okay, while that dries, we will go over here and start on this section where we are going to make this flip out and pocket. Okay, for the top flap, we're going to cut a piece of file folder that measures 5 3/8 inches wide by 7 1/2 inches tall. We're going to score a 1/2 inch line at the top and miter the corners. And this is the part that will be attached right here. All right. And we need to cover up the file folder with some decorative pieces of paper, and these are cut at 5 3/8 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches tall, and you need 2 pieces. The cutout, now I just used a die to cut mine out. I cut both sheets out at the same time, but you could definitely do this with scissors or a craft knife. But my hole and yours could be whatever size you want to make it, but I cut mine at 3 1/2 inches wide by 4 5/8 inches tall. And if you're using directional paper, make sure that when you flip this up, that the paper you put on the back or the inside is going in the right direction. Another thing that you're going to need, obviously, is a piece of acetate. I don't even know if this is showing up on the camera. That's slightly larger than your opening. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is attach this acetate. Let me make sure I get my stuff right here. Back. This is the front, so I'm going to hit and attach the acetate to the back of the front piece of decorative paper. And be careful when you're pressing this down. You don't want your glue to seep out into this front area right here. If it does, it's easy to get off, but I just try to avoid doing that. All right, and then we're going to ink it up. And if you want to ink up the inside naturally, you're going to do that before you attach the acetate. I just didn't do it in this situation. Just want to make sure everything is centered on there correctly, and it looks like I got a big old string of glue going right across my acetate. Oh well. Okay, go ahead and attach the one on the back. Again, make sure that your paper is going in the right direction. Go ahead and ink this up. A little bit showing, file folder showing up here at the top, so I'm just going to ink that up. And if it bothers you a lot, you can always come in and add some lace or something like that. But I'm not too terribly worried about it. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is attach our flap down to this portion of the folio. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I did that on my prototype, was to sew around the window and around the outer edge of the flap, just to add some interest and some additional texture. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I finished stitching around the window. I did 2 lines of stitching. One of them is kind of a squiggly line just for added interest, and then stitched along the outer side of the window. So we'll clip those threads off. Go ahead and glue that down. It actually looks pretty nice. I like it. Make sure, as I've stated before throughout this journal, throughout this folio, make sure that you stay on the inside of these score lines so that you don't interfere with the folio's ability to open and close. We're good on both sides. Okay, before we put a pocket down here on the lower portion, we want to mat this area right here that will also cover up our hinge. So we'll go ahead and ink this up. All right, so we're gonna attach a pocket down here, and I didn't take the measurements. So this measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6.5 inches, a little bit less than 6.5, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite 4.5 inches tall. So I'm sure that I cut that to, yeah, I cut that to fit nicely on that bottom. You'll just have to measure what space you have here, because they'll always end up different no matter what. Now carefully you measure, it will always end up different. And then you want to cut your decorative paper to fit right there in the center. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 5.25 inches by 1, 2, 3. A little less than 4 inches tall. And before we glue this down, let me just ink the sides here. We have a little swivel closure that we're going to attach to our pocket. And we want it to swivel up and just catch the bottom of this flap. So I want to poke a hole with my pokey tool down here in the lower portion. Let's see. So this is 5 1/4 inches wide, so 2. Well, I've almost got that exactly right. We want to go like 2 1/8. Get the pocket, punch a hole. I'll ink this up first before we attach it. And this shape you could cut out by hand. I actually cut it out of scrap cardstock on my Cricut. But you can, this doesn't have to be a teardrop shape. You can do circle, you can do whatever you want. I just thought this was cute. Right? And just like I did before, I want to put a little bit of space underneath there so that it can swivel freely. Mash that down and then cover it with some masking tape so whatever you stick in your pocket does not get hung up on those little legs. Okay. You can go ahead now and glue this down. Ink that up. Open. Yeah. All right. And that will just swivel around like that and keep your little flap closed. All right. Now, that went pretty quickly, so let's talk about the outside of the folio. Down through the spine, I have attached some cloth medical tape just to reinforce the spine. It's going to have a little bit of stress on it, so it's good to put something there. You can put, the same thing on these spines too if you want. I don't find that they have the amount of stress that this does. So I attached it and then I inked it up. And I see the spine over here has not been inked, so we'll do that real quick. Another thing that you can use there is Tyvek tape. You could cut, if you have Tyvek envelopes, you can cut a strip and glue it down there too. That works just as well. Just whatever you have available. Okay, so now is the point you want to think about your closure. And what we did on the prototype, I attached ribbon all the way across and then laid my decorative papers over top of that. And I'm noticing here we did not make a journal. I'm going to show you how to make the part to insert your journal. Your journal is going to go right here, and we need to punch 2 holes in the top and bottom and then place grommets in them along with some elastic thread to insert our folio, our journal. So let me go get my chompers and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I have gone ahead and punched the holes at the top and bottom of the folio for the grommets and attached a piece of elastic string, and I'll show you how to put the journal in a minute. But right now I want to attach our closure. Make sure I'm right way up. So I'm using silk sari ribbon here, and I'm going to place it beneath my decorative papers. I'm just kind of eyeballing the center here. You can measure if you want to. That looks about right. I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue right here just to hold that down. Do the same thing on this side. Okay, this is the front of our folio, and I've chosen to use this paper right here. It measures 5.5 inches wide by 9 inches tall. Ink those edges. And glue that down. Now we'll do the back. Okay, while those pieces are drying, this is a journal that I already had from the other folio that I used as my prototype. It is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages. I don't include the doilies as a page. You can if you want to. And I just did a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and it just slides right in here. So anytime it's full, you can just make a new one and slide it right in and keep on using it. So there is our folio. You can trim those off if you want. I like a lot of fluff. So now it's time to decorate the journal inside and out. I am not going to do that on camera, but it just gets you some coordinating paper or ready ephemera that you already have made up, and fill it with tags. What have I done here? Fill it with tags, journaling cards, whatever you want. This was fun doing this with you guys. I hope that you actually learned something and got some inspiration from watching me do this. It is my first tutorial, and I know some parts of it were a hot mess, but still I hope you learned something from it. I will link most of the supplies that I used in the description below and where I got them. I would love it if you got something out of this, if you would like and subscribe to my channel and share it if you know people who might be interested in seeing something like this. So thank you so very, very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.